We're going live now.
What?
What? We're live.
What?
Ah.
Australia.
Hello.
Hello?
Hello. What's up, bro?
Hey, it's the What's Up Bro podcast. We talk movies, sports, TV shows, pop culture, and it's funny, motherfuckers. With nary signs. I'm like, what? How can this... They have Photoshop. Photoshop exists when this artist rendition was done. How the fuck is this not cooler looking than a sketch that looks like it was done by a hillbilly off the side of the road? What the fuck are we talking? Why is this a thing?
So you're telling me there's a chance?
With Missy.
Just let me finish my thought before you fucking interrupt me. Wrong room to ask questions.
Welcome to the party, pal.
And Mike Markadal.
I'm just glad I like vanilla boring sex like this. I'm glad that the sex I enjoy won't get me killed.
That's how winning is done.
Hey, I'm Dave Chappelle, and this is What's Up, Bro.
All right, and welcome.
It's a magic trick.
Welcome to the What's Up Bro podcast. Your favorite podcast where you come to listen to people talk and debate on who's the bigger asshole.
Yes.
That's it. That's the whole description of the show.
Usually
I am Mary Signs. With me, as usual, is Missy
Hello.
and Mike.
Hey, hi.
And
I just woke up.
and our LGBTQ plus member.
Thanks, guys.
Well,
my
you don't know
God.
about my life.
Steph Animator Senior.
Yeah.
I was editing that episode the other day for the audio version, and I was like, "Oh yeah, she did come out." Like, I was like, "Oh yeah, that's right." I forgot because the episodes are so behind. Like, there's like three episodes behind now, and I'm just like editing the audio, and I'm like, "Oh yeah."
Oh, okay. Well, then I
If
was
you
going to say
took
Happy Pride Month. Like,
Yeah, happy Pride. If you took a
Yay.
100%. If you took a screenshot of this image and you had to guess which one of us was Alphabet Squad, it would for sure be the one with the dyed hair and the rainbow sweater.
I don't know. I have a lot of Funkos.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of Funkos back there.
What you think you're saying, you're not saying.
Anyways, hold on. I gotta share this link, and it's always. I was jamming out to the song. Can you guys see when we put the video? Can you guys see what everybody else is doing? Like I can't.
No.
No.
I was like literally jamming out, and I was just having a good time. And then
I was rushing to get on here.
And then
I had the rare occurrence where my baby actually slept, like in. I'm rested.
What?
Oh no.
I am rested.
That's
Amazing.
dangerous though.
All right,
You start to get
what a
I don't know.
what a fucking flex. What a fucking flex. What a flex. My baby slept all day. Ooh.
that is a parent flex. So we're like, oh, my
Legit.
baby sleeps through the night, and then every other parent fucking hates that.
My first two kids at 6 weeks, they were already sleeping 5, 6, 7 hours each.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
At
And
6
every
weeks old.
parent who hears that is like, "Fuck you!" And,
Yeah.
and they're like, "I'm gonna buy you like, oh, happy birthday!" The next gift giving holiday, they're gonna give your kids something
Sure.
that makes a shit ton of noise and is overstimulating, so that way it's like
It has no volume control.
absolutely not something you're gonna have to
because-
pull the batteries out of.
Eric De Silva, who's been in this podcast before years ago, comedian, he found out that we were having a third child. He was like, "You guys don't like sleep," and I was like, "Both my kids." I was like, I wasn't trying to flex. I was like, both my kids that slept at 6 weeks, they were already sleeping 5, 6, 7 hours.
Right.
And then he was like, "Oh, laddie, fucking," like he was just
Yeah.
not fucking happy with it. But it was just a weird. But now I guess that's my revenge because my daughter's now 8 weeks old today, and she's like, "Listen, I'm gonna take a 2-hour nap. You know what you're gonna do, but I'm gonna wake your ass up in 2 hours. All right? I don't give a fuck what time it is.
So cute,
2
though.
hours. I'll be right back."
She's like, "Hey Siri, set a timer for 2 hours. That's on you." And then
Oh, you guys could do what you want to do. You guys want to watch an episode
Oh,
or two of Cheers? That's
Sure,
on
yeah.
you. But I'm just telling you what it's gonna happen. In
You
2
better
hours.
make it through that episode, though.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen in 2 hours. Anyway, so pretty crazy. Mike was just talking about right before we got on air. That was a good conversation we had going. He talked about that he. Well, you tell it. Fucking, I'm telling it. Like,
yeah,
you know,
no, I'm here. It's just that I was struggling to get ready. Like, I took one of those naps that turned into like a full blown sleep. So
I know I'm groggy after.
And you know how you have one of those dreams where like you live, it's like that episode of Rick and Morty where you live that entire life in your dream, like years. It felt like years happened.
Maybe you time traveled for real.
Maybe.
Interdimensional nap.
Yeah, I took one of those multiverse wandering naps, and I woke up and I was like, what's happening? Like I felt like when Neo comes out of the pod with goo, or he's just like, wait, because it was also kind of hot in my apartment, so I was a little sweaty. So it's just like, oh, what is happening? You know, like just like a
what
weird.
Day is it?
I'm being birthed into consciousness. Oh,
yeah,
God,
I don't remember what those naps are.
Yeah, that happened. That's happened to me a few times. It happened to me when I was a kid a lot, where I would go to sleep, take a nap in the afternoon, and then wake up and it's dark outside and it's nighttime.
Yeah.
and then you wake, and as a kid you wake up, and I'm the youngest of four, so I would wake up and be like, what's going on? And my fucking siblings would all just fuck with me. They're like, hey man, there's a dream. And I was like, what? What's going on? And I was be so like completely
You've been in a coma for 5 years.
Yeah, and they were like, hey, where have you been? I'm like, what happened? And then I remember one time I was looking for my mom, and my mom had stepped away and like to do like run errands, and my brothers were like, oh, mom hasn't been around for years. And I don't know, I don't think they said the word died, but they were like, mom hasn't been here for years, where have you been? And I was like, what happened? And I must have been like 7 maybe, but I'm the youngest, like my older brother's 5 years older than me, so it's like this is hilarious. And it's like, what's going on? One time I woke up and I was completely by myself in my house. I was still a very young kid, but my grandfather was there. Everybody else was gone, but he happened to be in the bathroom right when I woke up. So I was like, nobody's here. What's going on, man? Like, I was just so fucking lost.
Why are you Keanu Reeves as a child?
Everybody is Keanu Reeves when they just wake up. Everybody. Everybody's like, whoa.
I was running with what Mike said. Yeah, you're born and you feel confused, and yeah, that's what I was going with.
There is that age though when you're like you were talking about, like right around that 6 or 7 years old, where you don't necessarily believe everything that's told to you anymore, but you don't have enough life experience to call people on it. So they would have been like, mom hasn't been here in 20 years, and you're like,
nah,
it might be true.
I also don't know what years are.
But I'm not gonna dispute you immediately.
My whole thing was always to say one time, and if they persist, like, oh, you must be serious.
Yeah,
it's like that's not true. No, for real. Like, immediately you pass.
You gave a 1.
Yeah, you get 1.
Jesus, you would have been so easy to deal with.
You solved my riddle.
Yeah, no, that's not true. For real. Oh shit,
that sucks.
That's not for real. That's like all you need to hear, and you're like, I want to believe. Yes, it's true.
Swear to God.
I love thinking that in the book of Neri's life, like how in like Fault in Our Stars, you okay is like their thing. For him, it's just for real. Like that's their commitment thing.
I like that you threw that reference out there. Like anybody else knows what the fuck you're talking about. Like,
Macy knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so Fault in Our Stars is a great book.
If you like that sort of thing,
you like that.
Emotions, sure.
I don't want my emotions manipulated with tropes and trite bullshit.
I'm not against. I'm not against any of that. But you know who is? Missy. Missy doesn't like feeling things because you constantly say that you don't watch things because you don't know.
I like to choose when I will feel things and when I will not. And that time I chose to feel.
Compartmentalizing.
What the fuck is the problem?
I like the fact that Missy's like, you don't like feeling things. I'm like, Missy, you don't like feeling things.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
You go, I don't want to watch that because it's gonna make me feel things.
Yes.
I also like to believe that Neri's wedding vows were like, for real? You know, like,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Do you? For real. And then do you? For real. Oh my God.
They mean it.
Stephanie, what did I call that movie, Fault of Our Stars? What did I call that movie before it came out? That I blurted out during an episode.
Oh my God.
And you immediately knew exactly what I was talking about.
Was it like Cancer Love Cry? Like, I don't know. It was like something.
Oxygen Tank Cry.
Oh my God.
I go, I oxygen tank cry, And then the other person in our panel that week was like, "What the fuck? Like, rewind that? What are you talking about?" And Steffi immediately was like, "Fatima Stars, Fatima Stars."
We
Yeah,
got
it's
it. We can
apt.
communicate.
It's apt.
We got
Yeah.
That was short.
Understood.
It's fine. Oh shit. So anyway, so Mike last week or a week, 2 weeks ago now, right? Or
Yeah.
last week, you went to Australia?
No, I went to Hawaii.
Hawaii. I'm sorry.
I'm about to be like, bitch, where
You know
were
what?
you?
Yeah. I was like,
You fucked up. You
for
went
a
to
second,
Australia
I was
didn't
like-
tell, and didn't tell Stephanie. You
Yeah.
just
I
went there, you're
know.
like, oh yeah, I just didn't work.
like I just land in Australia and I leave and we're like, oh, and like I see her like walking at the airport. I'm like, oh yeah, I was here for 2 weeks. Bye.
Bye.
No, I went to Hawaii. It was great. I did all of the Hawaii things and came home.
You are.
Wow.
Do you want more of the story?
What a storyteller.
I've been back in New York so long that all of like the joy that I felt after coming
Has
back
been
from
gone.
it's been like drained from me slow. I went
How?
to the
If-
dentist
aren't
today,
they
so like
the most polite people in the world? How could they have possibly drained all the joy, the Hawaii joy out of you?
no, just like back to my normal life, like just back to the
Oh.
routine of going to work and
So you
having
so-
to buy groceries, and I'm dieting again. Everything is bad. I worked out.
Oh,
with
you're
Will
dieting, so you're
Watkins.
hungry.
No,
There it
I'm not
is.
hungry. I'm just not eating the fun things anymore. Like I can't eat pizza.
yeah,
or
it's the
I
same
can't,
thing.
yeah. But I'm not. It's not like I'm not eating. I'm just eating like the right stuff.
Yeah. No. Me, I mean, I started a couple weeks ago too, and I'm just like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
And people are like, my wife was like, look, you could tell you've lost weight. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Like, I'm just not even happy about it
Yeah.
right now. I'm just like, you know, every and
man.
I told Missy this the other day. It's like I know it's gonna sound naive, but I legitimately did not realize how many ads were food ads
Yeah.
until
Yes.
until you start actively not being able to, or controlling yourself to not
Just trying to bring
eating
you down.
those things. So it's like one of those things where it sounds obvious, right? But I just never realized how many. Like, it was weird. And when you're playing, like, even when you're playing, especially me, when I don't watch a lot of ads per se, but I'm watching, like, I'm playing a game on my phone, and then there's an ad for something. And how many of those ads? I thought most of them were game ads, were like ads for other games, and then that's not necessarily not true. Like, there's a lot of.
Did you look something up?
No, it was just one of those things. I honestly believe I've the only thing is that my wife and I have actively been talking about, because she's lost a lot of weight now after the pregnancy. So
Good for
now is a time that her and I are both like actively like, all right, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna get this into
Yeah.
high gear, and and
Oh, your
I-
phone heard you.
it's been
100%.
amazing how many ads there are for food, and deliciously fattening.
Yeah.
grilled
The
cheese.
best food.
The best food. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
even talking about like, oh, I saw an ad for Prime 112. No, it was like, oh, I saw an ad for the new Burger King, like, disgusting grease burger, and you're like, oh yeah.
Yeah. It's always like,
Has it happened to any of you yet where you're like, you haven't looked up something, like it has nothing to do with you, have not looked it up, you had
Yeah.
a conversation about it within that day? It literally just happened to me the other day.
okay.
Yeah.
So there was
That
a
all my-
post that went viral on Twitter. There was
Yes.
this thread that this guy posted. It's like worse than you think. They don't have to record you, but like it feels like they do. But it's like it's worse than you think because of all the GPS tracking and how it connects to the people around you. So
Mhm.
coincidentally, like it feels like they're listening to you, but that's how tight the algorithm is about locating, like by location. Like if I get my phone gets next to you, then something that I would have recently looked at is going to get fed to you because it assumes we talked about it.
Okay, so check this out.
That's
With-
really outing
uh,
certain things.
I'll
Yeah.
piggybacking off of what you just said. Wife and I, this is like probably right as the pandemic started last year, and we're at or right before the pandemic started. So we're at Olive Garden, and my wife we're both waiting for the bill or whatever it was. I forgot what it was. We're just both on our phones, and I'm playing a game, and she goes, "Man, I'm tired of this game. I want to play another game, whatever." And she's like, "What do you play?" And I turned my phone around, did not say it, did not text it, did not fucking do a word. I go, and I show her the logo so she could download it. Like, I'm like, this is the one. It's this logo here. And she didn't download it. She didn't watch it. She didn't do anything. She just saw it from my phone. And 5 minutes later, she's playing whatever game she was playing, and the fucking ad comes up for that fucking game.
Yeah.
And she was like, I've never heard of this game before. I fucking never seen it before. I know you play something. I don't know what you play. I don't look over your shoulder. And when I asked you what it was, you just showed it to me. And you didn't tell it. I didn't say it out loud. I didn't text it to her. Nothing. I just fucking flipped my phone over. So that was the only time, because I don't give a fuck. I'm one of those people. I'm one of those sheeps. People are like, "Hey, take your information." I'm like, "Yeah, that's fine. That's cool, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. Makes it easier for my life because they know what I want." Yeah. I'm one of those sheeps. But that was the one time that I was like, "Whoa, that was fucking creepy." Because I didn't even say it, bro.
Well, some things are actually pretty. Some things are actually pretty handy. Like the other day, I was hanging out with So my sister-in-law is in a wheelchair, and she came over. And she was talking to me about a shoe that I had mentioned to her months ago that it's actually really good for people in wheelchairs where they don't have to lace. They can just zip up the side.
Okay. I thought you were talking about the new Nike.
It's kind of like the new Nike, just not that price point.
Yeah.
So it's a high top. You can zip it up. It's actually really well designed. And we were mentioning it to Dave. She didn't even say the name right. She was just talking about the type of shoe. I hadn't looked anything up. Within the same visit that she was here, it was already, all my ads have been for like inclusive design kind of clothes and like things for her. I mean, I started yelling into my phone, New Zealand, show me places in New Zealand to go travel.
Travel. Airlines.
Yeah.
First class.
Exactly. Deals, please.
Yeah.
For her it's actually, but that's actually pretty handy because at least when she's doing her things where she's with her caseworkers or where she's with other people in her community, I mean, it's stuff for them to know that you wouldn't actually hear about. Like that's one of the times that I actually do kind of appreciate it.
Oh, I appreciate it all the time. I don't give a fuck.
I have no problem with it tracking. I genuinely don't care about the tracking and all that stuff. It's when it's like there is a lot of manipulation to what you see, and then you see the results of it, like in the Facebook stuff that happened, where like the alt-right, the spreading of like alt-right messaging and stuff like that. Like it does, like when it comes to ads and stuff like that, like I don't care about that. But when it comes to content, I do. The second that Facebook stopped doing a chronological timeline, or Instagram stopped doing the chronological timeline.
I love the chronological timeline, bro.
It was the best thing it literally was what we signed up for, and then they changed it on us. But that Instagram in order, I like the fact that option doesn't even exist anymore is like a clue. They don't give a shit. Like on Facebook, it's harder to do because of comments and things, whatever. But like the posts exist in like a chronology, and it's on a server. Like they could just spit it out to you. It would be faster for them. It would be easier for them, and it would be easier for them to do keyword ad placement. But they don't do that. They do that out because it manipulates. They're trying to get in your brain. They even like admitted to doing like psychological experimentation in the way the content is delivered, and they got in trouble for it or whatever the fuck. But they like redesigned certain things. They were forced to stop doing certain things, which they did not stop doing. But this is one of those conspiracies that I do like believe it. That it's like legitimate.
Is that a conspiracy?
It's not a conspiracy so much as just a fact.
Yeah, hasn't that already come out? Like, is that
no. But I believe it's like, well, yes, you're right. It's fact that they're doing, but I believe like it's more coordinated. I think than
conspiracy would be like the aliens are doing this shit, man.
I mean, that's confirmed too.
Yeah, no. The conspiracy for me is that like
no phone home.
Like
swipe up.
Swipe left.
If we start getting ads for Reese's Pieces, we will know.
Can I just start? Wait, first of all, let's get to the comment because Yolanda is loving Steph's mug.
Yolanda's front and center on my Facebook feed, and yes, I want that.
I fell in love with it.
We're all gonna get targeted ads for it.
Yeah, we're all gonna get targeted ads now. Yolanda, just say it, talk about it out loud to your phone.
I think I'm just gonna think about it, and the chip will take care of it.
Yeah, the 5G Bill Gates implant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we got the vaccine. We're all vaccinated.
Well, my vaccine also came with lifetime concert tickets to Dolly Parton because she helped fund Moderna, so that was a bonus.
So a couple weeks ago, the I can't
even tell if you're joking though, because the U.S. does give away a lot of stuff. Like I might honestly don't know
no,
if
I'm
you're joking.
not. I keep saying that joke in hopes that I'm manifesting it into the universe, like see her in concert.
Well, because the thing is, you hear stories about like in different states how being like, oh, now you're part of a lotto, and now they're giving away this, and they're giving like just incentives. So I'm like, I don't even know. I don't even know if you're joking, to be honest.
No.
So a couple weeks ago, this is very surprising that we haven't talked about this, especially with this panel. A couple weeks ago, the U.S. government has confirmed that the pictures of the UFOs, certain pictures, are actual, factual, real. As far as UFOs, they didn't say that there are aliens from outer space, but they did say that those are unidentified, right? And everybody's losing their shit, and like UFOs are real, and I'm just like, like, I'm the dumb one. I'm assuming, right? I'm the dumb one that goes.
So this is the second year in a row where the government's trying to be like, yeah, no, there's UFOs.
They're like, don't pay attention to other stuff. Here's some UFO news so that you don't look into the shit that.
But it's not even working. But it's not working because nobody's fucking.
Well, because I feel like at this point, like a turn to the 96 Independence Day might be an upgrade to what the fuck we're living through. So yeah, bring it on. Well, also, I don't think, like, notice nobody's confirmed they've landed. They're flying by because I feel like they're looking down, going, they'll kill each other. We don't have to do anything.
They didn't confirm anything. They said, yeah, we don't know what those are either. That's all they said.
But they confirmed that the pictures are real, that they're not doctored, that they confirmed that those were taken by them, by the military.
Oh, I thought they confirmed it. That was.
They just said that, yeah, we don't know what that is either.
But to say that they didn't confirm anything is not actual either. I mean, again, they didn't say that they didn't confirm aliens. That's why I made sure to clarify.
But then they did that last year?
No. No. Last year was just that dumbasses were going to raid Area 51.
That was the year before.
No, that was 2020 because they were talking about how 2020 they're gonna that was all the bad year. The aliens, all that should happen in 2020.
No,
like footage of the UFOs and everything came out last year as well. I remember laughing because we're in the middle of a pandemic and people were like, aliens.
Yeah, but I'm the dumb one. I feel like I'm the dumb one because I'm like, I don't believe in aliens. And then the government's like, yeah, we don't know what the fuck those are, but those are real pictures. And I'm still like, yeah, I don't believe in I don't believe in aliens kind of shit. Like, I don't believe in any of that shit though. I know, and I say this, and me and Mike have talked about this years ago about the irony of which, because I'm a believer in Christianity, but I'm like, no, aliens, that's stupid. I don't believe in that. And then he's like,
that's why that tracks a lot of people.
Yeah, like where do you right? Yeah.
Like where do you draw the line? Like I say that with no sense of irony. I'm like, can you believe these idiots believe in this shit? Fucking aliens from outer space, fucking morons.
That's how they look at us. Yeah. That's what they think when they're watching us.
I feel like that tracks though. Like
what?
I said that tracks though. The whole like Christianity like as your base thing.
Here's the thing though.
And then not believing in aliens.
Here's the thing. I don't believe in aliens not because of my faith. In spite of my faith. Like I'm one of those people that's like, I'm not.
Why don't you believe in them?
There are people who tell you there are believers in Christianity or in any religion really that will tell you, yeah, I don't believe in aliens because my faith.
Scientology.
Because my faith says that that's not real. Like that's their logic behind it, and I'm not that guy. I'm like, oh, I believe in Jesus, and I believe that. I just don't believe in aliens. I don't.
Well, my question is always like, like what would be perfect for every
if Jesus
Christian?
Was an alien?
Right, no, here's my thing. What if like
with
Jesus,
blonde hair? That's weird.
Oh my god,
Jesus looks like Ewan McGregor. My thing is, like, let's say aliens do come. They travel from millions and millions of light years away, and they land and they talk to us, and they're like, "Have you heard the good news of our Lord Jesus Christ?" Right? Like,
and
imagine.
Then you roll your eyes. You go,
no, because then now I have to acknowledge that an entire other group of an entire other planetary civilization has the same Jesus. So now when Jesus is like, I'm the way, the truth, and the light, and all that shit, I'm like, oh yeah, but in the aliens, they're not gonna have had the same Jesus, and then all of a sudden they're like, Jesus, No, Jesus, like legit Jesus, and I'd be like,
At that
"Damn,
point, you'd be like, "Oh, damn, Jesus."
now
All
I
right.
need to reconsider my beliefs."
Mike,
That's what it would take.
This is what Mike just said. This is what
So
Mike
that's
just
what it
said.
would take. It would
This is
take aliens coming to
Yeah.
Earth
And saying
looking
they're
into-
Christians.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Got you.
This is what Mike
Do they
just
have
said.
bow ties? Like, do they have ties? Like,
Mike just said.
shut up.
The aliens came down and go, "Hey, Jesus is real," and he goes, and they go, "No, for real," and he goes, "Oh fuck, oh shit, for real,
real?
Oh, bro, all right. I mean, I gotta believe it now, right?"
yeah.
Hold on, let's get to some comments. Hold on.
I yeah.
Yolanda says that she believes.
She
Yay.
believes. Yes. Okay.
Don't know what that means because we were talking about aliens and Jesus. I don't know which one is
No,
which.
she's
X-Files.
talking about
X-Files
aliens.
thing.
She's talking about
I
aliens.
think she says yes.
There is absolutely no way that we are the only intelligent using that term beings in the
Yeah.
universe.
Correct.
Agreed.
Christian says it feels extremely arrogant to think
Absolutely.
that humans are the only beings to exist.
Hmm.
And then Lobo says
Lobo!
Aliens watching.
Is
well,
there an application process? Because I don't like it here, so I'll go with where they live. Okay.
I like the fact
That's
I like the fact that we have a couple of people saying it's extremely arrogant to think that we're the only ones here. Yeah, we're Americans, motherfucker. Like that arrogance is our fucking jam. Like, what are you talking about? Like that's of course. I
We
like the fact that
barely-
now, like it takes intergalactic possibilities for us to get humbled. Like, whoa. No, we're like what? What are you talking?
This is
we
making me want to
barely
watch
believe-
Independence Day.
We barely believe that other countries exist. Like we're and they're over there. There's people that don't believe that the Earth is flat. Like that you know, like
Wait, what?
Wait, what?
Wait, repeat that.
Rephrase that.
Rephrase
that,
it.
Michael. The way you
Flip
said
it.
it made it seem as if you believe the Earth is
He's
flat.
yes,
no, there are
that's-
people that believe that the Earth is flat.
Okay.
Yes.
right.
No, you said they don't believe the Earth is flat.
There are
Like you were
people that
shocked.
don't even believe that the
I'm
Earth is flat.
he's
What-
still drunk from the nap.
What if that was like the ultimate heel turn where I'm like, no, yeah, of course, but the Earth being flat.
ultimate
Guys, let me tell you, I did the research. I don't think there's a lot of conspiracy. So I believe the Facebook conspiracy, and let me tell you about this other conspiracy about the flat Earth that NASA has been pulling the wool over
Hollywood
your
Hogan.
eyes.
That's hilarious.
Let's talk about realistic conspiracies and now this shit.
Okay.
So going back to the aliens thing, I just want to say the one thing. It's
What's up?
absolutely crazy to think that we're the only life in the universe, but I'm also one of those people that is like, no one's gonna come find us because of how far apart everything is. Like, there's probably
They would.
so much life out there that we'll just but we'll never know because the universe is too big. I'm one of those people, so don't think that the aliens are gonna come save you or whatever.
Come
Not
on,
in
let
our
me
lifetime,
dream.
but we don't know. Like we don't know if another, race has been way ahead of us. Or
I would volunteer to move to Mars tomorrow. Let's go.
Can I
Yeah, but
just
that's
talk-
still
can-
us. That's still us doing it.
Can I just talk about the fact that can I point out the fact that Mike and I are two sides of the same
Mhm.
coin, two different sides of the same coin. Because
Mike
I'm
has
here-
faith.
as a Christian, I'm like aliens. That's stupid, right? And then Mike is like Christianity. That's stupid, but aliens, no, that exists. It's ignorant to believe that we're.
See, but he
I'm-
believes in it. He believes in it without seeing it and knowing that he'll never see it in his lifetime.
Right,
That
which
right
is
there.
hilarious.
I
Which
believe
is
in
the
the
entire-
probability.
Right. That's
So you just choose
that's
your
having
probability of faith.
Yeah, that's having faith.
I think it's the construct of Christianity that bugs you more than the possibility that there's something.
that
out
it's
there.
man, it's man-made. It's like
Well, just like
story.
aliens could be man-made, but I like the fact that you choose to believe in one and not the other.
No, no, no,
What?
no,
We're
no,
the
hold on.
same. Like,
I'm not
Mike,
talking
you and I
about,
are the
like-
same. Like the hypocrisy lives within me
Where
too.
we turn.
The fact that I'm saying aliens are to believe in aliens is dumb, but I believe in Jesus. That's as ironic and dumb as. And,
I think you just kind of called me a hypocrite right there because that's
but I'm-
not what I'm saying. I don't believe
Wait.
in.
I did call you a hypocrite, but I also call myself a hypocrite at the same time.
No, but I'm not a hypocrite in the sense of like I have faith that it's true. Mine is not. Mine is like an extrapolation, like an idea. It's not like I've built my life on it or believe it's going to affect me in any way. It's that because of what we're made of. Yeah, that stuff exists everywhere in the universe. The fact that we developed out of this stuff, it doesn't make us special. Like we're made of the same stuff that everything else is made of. So probably it developed in certain ways different than us, but it's not in the same, like it's not movies like flying saucer aliens or whatever. I do though believe that there's potential for like multi-dimensional things that can happen through gravitational waves and stuff like that, and that's all fantasy like ideas. But the fact that we're made up of stuff that exists all over the universe means that the probability of it is high on a long enough timeline of like billions and billions and billions of planets, and we're finding.
So I have a question. Is the possibility of aliens existing somewhere far enough that you probably won't see them the same, like, does it rank the same as the probability that we're in a simulation for you?
It's tricky because I have no idea. I don't know anything about the simulation idea. I just hear about it, that we live in a hologram or whatever.
Avatar's real, man.
All right.
Avatar's real.
Oh, the Matrix. It's supposed to be the Matrix. The Matrix.
My first thought went to like, yeah, water bending is real. Air bending is real. I would be an earth bender or a water bender. I don't know. I would want to be.
I track Earth for you.
I flew on a Banshee.
You
from
flew
Avatar on a Banshee.
What's
on Saturday. I flew on the Avatar Banshee at Disney.
How is it being in Disney?
We're talking about different avatars. That's
I know.
Yes.
I was trying to talk since I've been quiet for 20 minutes.
To be fair, when I brought up Avatar, I was also thinking the same Avatar, Missy.
I know.
Wonk, wonk. Disney was amazing. I had one of the better trips that I've had. I used to think that I didn't like Disney, but it was just my hostage situation. It wasn't actually Disney's fault. On Saturday, we did the line for Smuggler's Run, and I was a pilot.
I still want to go to.
Can you go in more in depth about like what you just threw away?
The hostage.
The line you just. Yeah.
Oh, so for
there's a relationship.
So for 6 years, and I'm not exaggerating, with the exception of New York, which was an amazing trip. But I still I still think it, like, I don't count it. I have to do it again because it doesn't count. The only vacation I ever was on was to Disney multiple times a year, 3 or 4 times a year. The only ever vacation. So if the suggestion to go somewhere else was ever made, it was like, we don't have money for that. But then they would come home and be like, oh, me and so planned we're going to Disney this weekend. And that's what we did. So it wasn't about
so it's only
Disney.
it was only when someone else suggested going.
Yeah. And then the one time I tried to have a conversation about it, they told me I was a miserable cunt bitch. So, only healthy things. But anyway, I'm over that because Disney's awesome now. And especially after this weekend, which I was able, you can be mad. We can talk about it later.
I know. I just fuming inside. I'm just.
You want to defend your friend.
Stephanie's writing down like, all right, after show conversation. Talk about this for the after show, which will be available to all patrons. So go to patreon.com.
So
sign up to Patreon and hear us talk shit about someone.
Yeah. So we made it to Galaxy's Edge, which was amazing. I actually got, like, you know how when you're walking into Magic Kingdom and you see like the little kids who see the Cinderella castle for the first time and they just flip the fuck out, and like you see it in their eyes that it's like, holy shit, they just had a moment. That's what turning the corner and running into the Millennium Falcon was like for me, because I was just like, oh fuck, I was not ready. And I did like get a little weepy. I was like, oh, again,
I want to go so bad. I want to go.
It's
I have not
amazing,
been.
And I recommend 10 out of 10. Smuggler's Run was such a great ride. Jeff, actually, I don't know if he's watching, but Jeff gave me the tip in line. He's like, whatever you do, if you're going to be a pilot, be the one on the right, because that's who gets to pull the lever to go to Lightspeed. And I was the right pilot, and it was fucking fantastic. And then later that day, we were able to get in queue for Rise of the Resistance, which is like super hard to do. The whole process is.
Those are two separate things. I thought they were the same thing.
Smuggler's Run
I want to go to this.
I don't live in Florida anymore, so I have no concept of what these things are.
Actually, Hilda, Mike, your friend Hilda.
Yeah.
We're friends now.
Yes.
We text each other all the time. So she was telling me that I thought the same thing, and she told me on Saturday. She's like, no, it's two separate things. I was like, what? It was so great. So Smuggler's Run by itself, if I would have just done that, it would have been a fantastic date. But then when we got to do Rise of the Resistance, which I wouldn't even call that a ride. Neri, you've done it. I feel like it was more of an experience than it was just like sit down, ride, get off. Because I'm not gonna
Like a
spoil it.
show.
Yes, it was so fucking good. It was so good, and that's all I'll say because I don't want to ruin it.
Look, as a casual Star Wars fan, and I'm a Star Wars fan. I consider myself a Star Wars fan, but I'm not. I self gatekeep because I hang around people who are like, first of all, they're lifelong Star Wars fans, which I cannot claim and don't claim. And second of all, they're like if you open like that old phrase, like if you open me up, there's a fucking Millennium Falcon beating where my heart's supposed to be, like that type of shit. And you know, yeah, there's, you know what I mean? Like we Mike, you and I have had private conversations about mutual friends of ours who have quote unquote cried at this scene or that's, and we're like, what the fuck? Like, I'm not that dude. I like the fucking movie and I like, but that's right.
I'm a lifelong Star Wars fan, and there's moments where I'm just like, God, guys,
get it together,
guys. What's happening over here?
Pull your shit together, fellas.
Because fandom amplifies things. For
So
you too.
I personally, I self gatekeep. I'm like, hey, I'm a Star Wars fan, but not like, I'm not that guy, right? I'm not that level, I guess. But even I, who I'm, again, I consider myself a casual fan, walking in and turning around and seeing the Millennium Falcon and the whole world, like everything that was behind you, everything that you just finished
Mike's
seeing,
like, Siri,
it disappears because now they do it in a way where you're kind of seeing a bunch of trees.
It's immersive.
And then you take a turn and it's like, oh, I'm in whatever fucking planet. I don't know what it's based on.
No, it's Galaxy's Edge. Like they invented Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah, but it looks like the desert planet that this chick was in. It
it's
looks
called
like
Bantu in the thing. I've read all about it.
It looks like where they found the Millennium Falcon. Remember where they were like, what about that one? That was garbage. It looks just like, so you turn around and then
the way you quote it is even way off.
And well, like I said, I'm not a fucking
he's keeping it cash.
I can't quote it. I can't quote it correctly. I just know that was wrong. I'm just imagining someone who's like really specific, just sitting there like,
oh, they're in the comments. Don't worry.
They're called pedantic. Stop being so pedantic, people. So then my whole thing with Missy was like, I was so impressed with this. Like I couldn't stop. Like it's like 3 steps down and you keep going. And I stayed there taking all these pictures because I was like, this is fucking amazing. And the attention to detail is fucking
immaculate.
Is fucking you're in line and you're touching the fucking bottom of Millennium Falcon, and each little ridge has it's not like they painted on a rough,
right?
It's like you could touch the paint that was chipped. Like, oh, there's just it's bananas, dude. It's fucking bonkers.
Well, I'm gonna have to go visit Hilda
right now.
in Orlando.
Mike, I would recommend that you do that sooner rather than later because Disney announced last Friday that they're going back to full capacity this fall. As of right now, the crowds are controlled, and if you don't have a problem with crowds, that's not why I'm pitching it to you. It's just because the lines are super like half an hour and less. The longest line I did this weekend was for Flight of Passage, which is the Avatar. You ride the Banshee, which is amazing on its own. But that ride is so cool and it's worth the wait. It's just it was the longest line I made and it was 2 hours on Sunday. But other than that, everything else was half. That's why we did Smugglers Run twice because the first time we did, I think it was 40 minutes. We went to lunch, came back, and it was like 20 minutes. We did it again. And then by that time, it was time for us to go to Rise of the Resistance. But 10 out of 10 recommend Chef's Kiss weekend. It was just phenomenal. I hadn't been there in like 2-3 years. So I got a lot of shit out of my system. But if somebody wanted to go again, I'd go.
I want to go so bad. Hey, why is Avatar popular? Why does Avatar still exist?
I like it. I don't get the hate.
The movie or the movie, but the movie but are you talking about the rides or the movie? Like, because
no.
The rides are
the movie came. It made more money than anything, and then disappeared.
Yeah.
Well, because it was.
Why is a Disney ride still built around this?
Well, first of all, Animal Kingdom is
so weird to me.
Well, Animal Kingdom, in my opinion, is one of the weakest park out of the 4.
But the ride is beautiful.
And then at night, like that whole section of Avatar is very, very,
I guess, right?
It's super pretty.
Did number 2 already even come out? No, number 2.
This movie dropped over a decade ago, and who cares?
Why
Because,
should I
It's so
care?
funny because it feels like they're doing like a really big gamble that the second one is gonna blow the fuck up as well. And I'm just wondering
the next 3 in a row.
But
The next 3 at the same time.
But
So
even if
they're filming parts 2, 3, and 4 at the same time. I think part 5 even. I think.
But even if the
That's
other
a
two,
big
even if
commitment.
the other ones that are coming tank, these rides as standalone, just Avatar like branding, marketing, aesthetic,
Right.
they're awesome. Like they're not connected. The only reason they're part of
got
the
myself as a-
Avatar like universe, but nothing happens in terms of like interacting with any of the characters or you're part of a storyline. It's more of an
the
like
whole
you're
tree hugger thing. That's why they put it.
I know, but riding that banshee, it's like it's so cool.
No, I'm not saying it's in a negative. I'm answering Mike's question. Is like, why would Disney build a whole ride based upon this one movie that came out a decade ago? And it's because they wanted something. They wanted a big project to tie into the whole earth and plants and trees and all that bullshit. And that was the movie that came. And that was the biggest movie of all time until Endgame.
I could not be more meh about that. You know,
That's-
about Avatar. I'm like,
I get that, but at the same time, when you're there and you're in it, like
that I
it
do
is
buy
gorgeous.
because I buy into the Disney parks and like when you walk into because I've never even been to the Wizarding World in Universal. So like I buy into all that shit. So like when you walk into like
that's the same thing of like super immersive. Like
yeah. When you like I remember when you walked into Jurassic Park and I was like, oh wow, the first time and even when I go to Disney World every time I'm like, oh my god, Main Street. Oh my god. You know, like I'm that guy where it's like
feel the racism.
Oh wow!
Oh god,
the authentic Americana racism here. You could just feel.
Look at the whitewashing that's been done over the
yeah. Where's the Native
the
American
Country Bear
tribe?
Jamboree? That's
gentrification of this neighborhood here, huh?
You go to Frontierland and you'd be like, wow, where's the Trail of Tears ride?
You know what?
It's a water ride.
I still can't get into like the
boo.
I'm the one. Like I'm the fucking one.
I don't know
because the thing is we pictured it, Nary. The thing is we pictured it.
Well, you know.
Don't make me
you
think
don't
my own
waste
thoughts.
fucking 15 minutes on the Jungle Cruise. What a waste of a fucking ride. I
actually love
that
the
ride.
Jungle Cruise.
No,
I love the Jungle Cruise.
It's just pun after pun for 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah,
I love
and
that
awful puns.
You know what's funny,
I'm
Missy?
in.
You know what's funny, Misty? When she did the ride, she texted the group that me, her, and Vanessa are in. My wife is in, and she's like, "Fucking dumbass puns." And my wife was like, "I love puns," and I was like, "Yeah, man, you're in the wrong room for this fucking."
Yeah.
And here she
Read
comes.
the
and here she
room.
comes 3 days later, she's like another room, and she's like, "Fucking punch are stupid," and everybody's like, "Nah, man, we like punch." Like everybody.
I don't care. I still think they're stupid. I think what
Take that
happens
fun
is
slander somewhere else.
yeah. Yeah. No, I don't get the whole hype behind Jungle Cruise. I don't get it, but I support
wait
those
to
who do.
I can't wait to see that dumbass movie with The Rock and Emily Blunt. It looks
Oh, I'm gonna
so
watch that.
stupid,
Like,
and I
what?
love it.
The mummy
it
on
looks-
water.
It looks like they're
Yes.
literally like they took Indiana Jones and they revamped it. I'm like, it looks like Indiana
Great.
Jones.
Indiana
It looks like
Jones
the
is
Mummy. It looks like the
Yes.
Mummy.
No,
Mummy.
it does not. Mummy sucked and it was awful and it was shit. It does not look
No.
What?
it
How
looks
dare
like-
you?
Whoa.
Fuck, I don't give a fuck.
We will
I
be
stand by that.
avenged.
Wait.
I-
Are you talking about Brendan
Time out.
Fraser?
Yes,
Mummy
Brendan
or
Fraser Mummy
Tom-
sucked. No,
Yeah,
Tom
no,
Cruise
he's
Mummy was awesome.
serious.
Brandon, but the movie, the Jungle Cruise trailer,
Welcome,
to me,
guys.
the Jungle Cruise trailer to me looked like it was Romancing the Stone, Indiana Jones. It had that fucking feel where I'm like, yeah, all right, I'm fucking down for this shit at all. I didn't even know until Jeff later on pointed out. I was like, oh, it's like the Mummy. I'm like, why the fuck? Why would you say that? And then he goes, oh, it's like the girl and her brother. And I'm like, I didn't even hear that part, that line. And like, oh, me and my brother. I was too busy focusing on the fucking Rock and how amazing he looked in that fucking.
Yeah, that was
Doesn't he
exactly
look
what I
like
did with Brendan Fraser.
ridiculous in his IG picture? There was like an IG picture he dropped this week, and I was like, God damn, sir, eat a burger
But he's getting in shape
for Black Adam. I know,
Black
but
Adam.
it's unreal.
But that's one of the things that we've talked about it before, like the movie shape that you have. It's basically like the unhealthiest these guys ever get is when they're like dehydrated from like days leading up to shooting a scene where they have to look super shredded because of the way the camera,
That's why I turned down movie roles all the time, bro. I'm like, dude,
yeah, man.
I'm not gonna be unhealthy to me. I'm not gonna do that to myself.
Yeah, look at his legs, his thighs,
That's unreal.
his quads. are
Yeah.
What
monstrous.
is that?
Yeah, man.
That's a lot of money in
His
staff. to
thighs
make
are
you
the
look
size
like
of my
that.
head.
I am
Good for his wife.
what I'm more impressed about is the fact that both of you showed the same picture and there was different colors on both pictures, and I'm like, whose has a better camera?
Yeah, someone's got their cameras, their lighting different. The point being of all of that is that movie and like the Jungle Cruise, like the movies based on rides, they never, or like the movies based on like properties that should not be movies, like Battleship or so, or like even
But like
I
Pirates
love
of the
Battleship.
Caribbean blew the fuck up though.
Pirates of the
Caribbean.
Caribbean sucks now. The last ones have been terrible.
Now, but like
the
they
first
were like,
one was good,
what
and
a
that was
huge
it.
thing.
The first 17 were good. The last 5.
No, the first one was good. The other ones, look, they're not.
I didn't
great.
like the first one. I got to be honest with you. I liked the third one.
Really?
Yeah, I couldn't understand Johnny
I
Depp.
forget who
I could not understand him. He was too
Mike,
drunk. Where I'm just like, I
forget who I'm talking to.
Yeah.
Yeah, and but I love Battleship. So we talked about that
What?
before too. Yeah, I love that movie. It was great.
Okay. Well, anyway, I had fun at Disney, guys. We should do a Disney trip.
We should. I would love to fly
Be fun.
down.
Yeah, sure. I'd love to be able to.
Oh,
Stephanie, you'll be there in spirit. Listen, Yolanda says America, and she says abyss. Enough said.
She was talking about
Yeah,
the
we haven't been
aliens,
keeping
about
up. We haven't been
life.
keeping up with the
Yeah.
comments.
I know, but we got to keep going. Let me see here. Jeff says, it's Batu. Thank you. Yeah, there you go. It's a completely new planet invented by the galaxy's edge. Yeah.
I was half right.
And so holy crap, I cannot keep up with the conversation.
Yeah, we're all over the place today. What did we want to talk about today?
There's a couple stories that came out, and I wanted to kind of talk about it.
Okay, bring those up. Although before we move on, I did want to bring up this one thing, because having the conversation with the three of you and being so far removed from everything did make me realize something. So online, I've been seeing a lot of flack for like quote unquote Disney adults lately.
Oh yeah,
and like Disney adults being made fun of. But like, I think some people need to understand, like, when you grow up in Miami and in Florida in general, but especially Miami, where you're so damn close to Disney World and how immersive Disney World is, like, you have no choice but to be a Disney adult.
I don't think they're talking about that. Well, because in LA too, because of Disneyland, there's a lot of Disney adults. What it is, it's also like the people who make anything. Like I have a thing with this with like the anime people, or like the people who make one thing their entire personality. It's happened in the D&D community. You get these people that their entire thing is. When
your entire existence is based off any one thing. I get what you're saying.
Right. So the Disney adults, they get a lot of flack, especially on like TikTok and all these places, because they're like out there enjoying a thing, which I will never make fun of anybody enjoying a thing, you know, like I fuck with Neri and all that stuff, but he can like Battleship, you know. But like but if someone wants to enjoy something, it's harmless, right? But the Disney adult thing comes from a lot of the people with kids saying like, what do you mean you're just going to go to Disney World with your partner and you're just going to go to Disney? You're taking up space for that. This for kids. It's for kids or whatever like that.
I think that's a whole different other group of people. That's a different group of people.
No.
No, that's not true, because I have kids and I've never once been like, you're here fucking without kids.
Well,
I've never.
Not everybody's shitting on Disney adults. Not the people that do. It's like two vocal groups.
It's like, I think there's multiple focal groups. I think there's people.
I said vocal. Like there's the loudest
vocal, right.
people. The loudest people are the ones that like you see. You see the crazy lady with like Disney tattoos. That's the guy that has 101 Dalmatians tattooed on his body.
I have Mickey Mouse tattooed on me.
Sure, yeah. I mean, like it doesn't like those are the people like the ones that you see are the outliers, and the complainers are the ones that are the outliers as well. So if it's not like those are also the people that shit on Disney adults are also the people that shit on Star Wars adults, the people that shit on, you know, the adults that build Lego, like, you know, whatever. Who cares? Like, I just think the people who complain are having a lot worse of a time in their life than the people who are just living their life and loving Disney. I think it's dumb to complain so much.
I didn't go to Disney a lot as a child. I've actually been a lot more as an adult, before, during, and after my situation. So I've had a lot of people like share like the Disney adult hate or whatever, like that we shouldn't be allowed if you don't have a kid because whatever. Here's what I'll say to that. don't ever fucking bring. I think Epcot should be just for adults. That park is not for kids. Stay the fuck home so I could drink and I don't have to worry about traumatizing your
Or
kid.
not.
Or not.
not.
Or not.
I
Like,
don't
it
agree with that
doesn't
at all.
matter. Like, who cares?
I wasn't done with my point.
Yeah, we're okay. We're going along with it.
We're
So,
along with you. We just disagree.
I'm just saying that, but there's a counterpoint to everything that say. So yeah, sure, I don't have kids, so I shouldn't be allowed to Disney. I don't think that you should drag your fucking kid and I have to hear him before 9 a.m. screaming bloody murder in the parking lot, no less, because you're dragging their asses into the park. That's not cool. That's my vacation.
If the movie's over PG-13, don't bring your fucking kid who's under 13.
Exactly. And then
I mean, that one I agree with.
In a different segment, I would say
no, but like there's people who bring like babies and shit into movie theaters, like that type of environment. Where
I think it's criminal if you bring a newborn to a Disney park, which I've seen. I saw this past weekend. It's criminal that you would do that to your kid. I don't understand just stay home. Like your baby's gonna suffer. They're not having fun. There's not for them. And also I think that, live and let live. So like I will only push back on that shit.
I love that. Did you catch that there?
Push back on that shit because they're fucking coming after me.
That's hilarious. I don't agree that any of these people should be enjoying any of these things, but
no,
live and let live.
Because if I have the right to fucking be there, then I also have the right to fucking complain. If you're gonna complain about me being there, then I can complain about you fucking being there and how you don't have the right to be there either. That was my point.
But I don't think the phrase "live and let live." I don't think you use that.
I am a big proponent of live and let live, and since they won't let me live, then I won't let them live. Fuck that.
I think you mean more of like an eye for an eye, or
no. I think I know what I said, and I meant what I said, and it
like live let die, bitch. Just die.
Yes, shut up with your bullshit. I don't understand that shit.
Any of those rules that you guys put, I don't agree with any of those rules.
Surprising.
I've never complained about any of those things. I've never complained. The only time I've ever complained, and again quietly, not complaining, not carrying complaint like, hey, I'm gonna go fucking complain to the manager. Mm-hmm. The only time that I've ever complained to myself, like that I've ever like, oh whoa, is when we were watching Logan, fucking opening weekend, and this dude comes in with 4 kids, and the oldest is 7 years old, 8 years old-ish. And they all just went downhill from there as far as younger. And I was like, this is, and then in my mind, I'm like, oh, he's like right in the row in front of us, in the row in front of us. And I'm literally thinking to myself, oh, he doesn't know. Maybe he doesn't know. He doesn't know. And within 5 minutes, all the fucking killing and blood and decapitating and all this shit, I'm thinking to myself, I'm looking at in front of me and going, oh, he's going to get these kids and fucking go. And he does not. And they stayed throughout the whole movie. And that was the one time I was like, whoa, that's a little bit too much. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if it's PG-13, like I've shown my daughter some movies. I showed her Twins the other day, the Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know, I'll show her movies that aren't exactly kids movies, but
that's tough to get. Yeah, but that's not that's a tough to get adult movie. There's a lot of cursing in it and stuff, but
there's cursing. It's difficult not to be like, hey, listen, I know the line money talks and bullshit walks is hilarious, but you can't say that at school. I can't have you say teacher, money talks and bullshit walks. Like, I can't have you say that. But like I'm saying, like none of those, but that one time with Logan, because it was so overtly violent, and that I was like, whoa, and they were so young that I was like, dude, this is no, come on, this is
that's my big
idea, right?
So as the thing also comes up is like, we're talking about public spaces, right? Like, we're talking about theme parks, we're talking about movie theaters, we're talking about like anywhere where you interact with the public. If you don't take into account that there are other people around and they have the right to not have their shit like when I was in Hawaii, right? I was in Hawaii and we were just hanging out, we were doing stuff. We were at one point we were being like kind of little like rowdy at a dinner table because we went out to eat and we were genuinely like disruptive, and I was like, hey man, we gotta calm. Like someone was like, oh hey, I'm sorry, you guys are being a little loud. And the first response, like impulse that my friends had was to be defensive, right?
Oh, they're from Miami. They're from Miami.
Yes.
Yeah,
so of course.
Yeah. That's
and I'm like, hey, and then
I'm being loud, like, oh, hey.
Yeah. And then I was the one. I was like, hey, you know what? You're right. And I was like, you're right. I'm so very sorry. We'll try to keep everything down, because it's like, hey, man, just because we're on vacation doesn't mean these people are not. You know what I mean? It's different. You got to make sure like there's other people around you. Like, hey man, it doesn't cost us anything to keep our fucking voice down, and we can still have a good time. You know what I mean? Like they're not interrupting us. Let's not interrupt them.
I think my gripe is that it's always been like, oh, you don't have kids, you shouldn't come to Disney. They don't get that shit.
I don't hear that
I've
often.
never heard that.
I've heard it a lot. I've read it in a couple of mommy blogs, and that your wife Neri used to send to us.
Yeah, no, I know, but again, we also in those same blogs you hear of people doing the most outrageous, like those blogs are like the heightened version of like the most extreme versions. Like I've never known anybody, and maybe I'm wrong because maybe I'm don't, but I mean pre-kids, my wife and I were going to Disney by ourselves. Pre-kids, we were going to Disney and we were going to like Mickey's Not So Halloween. We were like Not So Scary Halloween. We were dressing up in costume. Pre-kids, we were doing that. And
You're still a good time at Disney, even with kids. We were at Disney for the most miserable day ever. And it was one of the better fucking experiences I've had at a Disney park the entire time I've been going.
Thank you. And we had a great time. I just don't like, I've never heard somebody actually say that like in real life. Like if somebody shows me a screenshot or whatever, Jeff is, I don't know if Jeff is still on here. Jeff, the American Cheenies have a kid. I've never heard them say shit like, oh, people without kids. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I don't know. But I've never heard them say that. I've never heard.
You also don't hang with those people, I guess, right?
Yeah, I don't know. But then again, I'm no longer single without kids, hanging around people that are singles or that what I mean.
That don't have kids. Well, that also comes into the play of like how long have they been waiting in line? Because that's when people start to get real ruthless. Like when after that, like when you're dragging around a shitty kid for an hour in that little fucking zigzaggy line.
I think that's on you. I got to be honest. And look, I've lost my shit. I once yelled, and
I'm not defending them.
And I'm not. And this is not a problem. But I've once yelled.
I would actually enjoy to be in a fucking miserable long line with Mike and have that kid's fucking lose their shit around him. Get that kid under control, you fucker.
No, I'm not mean to children.
You would yell to the parents.
Responsible.
Well,
yes, I want to be there for that. That's the part I want to be there for. Not you yelling at kids, just you yelling at the parents.
I lost it at Sophie one time because she wasn't eating her food, and it was like exactly what she ordered. It was like chicken nuggets and whatever the fuck it was, mac and cheese, and she didn't want to eat it. And I was like, and I lost my shit at Disney. I was like, what? I was like, you have to eat it. And then I got looked at, and I was like, oh, am I yelling? My bad, bro. And I feel bad for that. To this day, I feel bad for that. I'm like, I should have controlled. I just, again, adult logic going like, but this is exactly what you ordered.
Right.
Like I'm not like this is exactly you can't.
She's very particular about the shade of cheese that her mac and cheese is.
Legitimately,
it has to be Kraft yellow, or she don't want that shit. It doesn't matter where the fuck.
Or Panera white, like it has
Panera's.
to be one of those two things. And it's let's get to some comments. Hold on. So
we had a lot.
Vanessa says no one wants to hear screaming.
Yeah,
and that's true. Like what Missy said, like, oh, it's my vacation. I don't want to hear your kid yelling. Like we don't want to hear our kid yelling either. Like what the fuck do you think?
Yeah.
Like you think that's part of that deal? Like we don't want to.
But some parents are fine with it. I don't know.
No,
see?
I don't think any parents are okay with that.
I don't think any parents are okay with that. I think that sometimes you have to carry on with what you're doing too, because there's nothing you can do for them sometimes.
I will say before we move on that there is nothing that enrages me more than when a parent has tuned out their kids' loud whiny noises.
That's what I'm saying. Yes.
Once they've tuned out and are no longer making an effort to realize, like I understand, like on an airplane, you can't go outside. You know what I mean? Like you can't leave. But in like a movie theater or in a public space, a restaurant or whatever, it's like, hey, take your kid outside. Just because you've learned
that should be the general rule. Is like
just because you've learned to tune your kid out. I'm sorry, man. Just because you learned to tune your kid out doesn't mean that to listen to your kid.
You know why?
Full down meltdown. You have to remove the stimulus
because that's what they get to an age where they're looking for a reaction, and so you have a conversation with them. And you try to talk to them and you try to do this. Hey, we can't do that. Relax, blah, blah, blah. And I'm speaking as someone who, I got to be honest with you. I'm not trying to, this is a weird fucking parent flex. My kids haven't lost their shit in a public place. Like they haven't had a full meltdown, knock on wood.
Lucy's giving you trouble sleeping through the night. So she might be the one.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. Here we go.
But I know that there are times where you have a conversation with a kid and they're just not having it and they just lose it and they want the reaction. So they want you to get out of line or they want you to do this or they want you. And if you give them that, then what you're teaching them is if I lose my shit enough, I get what I want. So there's a line. I'm not saying that it's not annoying to be a fucking bystander watching this. That's super annoying.
Yeah,
But
that's still teaching moment.
as a parent, what do? Do you just cave in and be like, okay, let's do whatever the fucking kid wants?
No.
He's in control now.
No.
I mean,
I'm saying you don't have to fly off the handle. You can just
but again,
take your kid
but
and remove them from the situation.
Again,
If they want to, if that's what they want, then you should not be in that space with them until they know better, and then you take it. You're like, I'm sorry.
There's where does that line go? Because if we're in if we did a 2-hour line, in the morning, and now we're doing an hour line in the afternoon, and they've eaten and they've napped and whatever the fuck going on, you don't know how these kids are going to react to a certain situation.
Disney is a separate thing. Disney, I'm talking about like in a restaurant or a movie.
Yeah, again, it's just one like, do you cave in? When your kid has a meltdown because you didn't buy them a toy at Target, do you cave in and just get it to them? Now you're rewarding bad behavior.
No. That's not what I'm talking about. If you're at dinner and you're in a restaurant with a lot of people, do those 100 people have to deal with your teaching moment?
And so what's going to happen?
Are they required?
Are teaching moments only confined to my public house?
No, what I'm saying is that you are being disruptive to these other people, the 100 other people in this place.
Again, I'm not agreeing with you. I just think so what am I supposed to do? So now I'm raising an asshole because, hey, you wanted out of this restaurant, you want to go to McDonald's instead of this.
Hey, I don't know. Your kid's an asshole, but I don't have to deal with live and let live because you can live and let live with your little asshole child, but I don't have to suffer through the fucking noise.
Name of this episode.
I don't think anyone is using that phrase right.
No, name of this episode is Live and Let Live with a question mark.
Yeah.
Vanessa says, I remember that family at Logan, such a bad parenting decision. At Logan?
Yeah, Logan, the kids watching murder.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Murder.
Mike's dad says, I always try to have a beer with every country.
In every country. Dad, yes.
Way
to go.
When I drank soda, I used to drink Pepsi from every
It's different.
Disney is a Coca-Cola company.
Yeah,
Mexican Coke, Norwegian Coke, Japanese Coke.
Japanese Coke is the best. That's by far. That's not even close.
Wait, that's really a thing?
What?
No.
Yeah.
They have a Coke pavilion at Epcot. What are you talking about?
Are you
talking about?
Are you serious? What kind of Floridian doesn't know about that?
A fucking horrible one. I don't want to be here to begin with.
Legit.
Paneri, for real?
For real.
But for real.
Oh, for real, yeah.
For real. I that's like though. I don't get tempted much to have soda. I haven't had soda coming up on 4 years.
Stop fucking showing off.
Why? I don't give a fuck. I'm bragging about that. That's fucking impressive to me, and it's hard for me to do, and I'm proud of myself. So, but one of the very few times that I do get tempted is when I've been to Epcot. I'm like, oh goddamn, you Japanese Coke, you son of a bitch.
I feel like you're not telling me the truth.
They're labels or whatever, but like it's not different. But like they do have the drinking around the world. Like
no, but it tastes different. The Coke from different countries tastes different. It's legit.
I don't think we're talking about the same thing. Are you talking about the bottled Cokes that you buy?
No, I'm talking about you go into the Coke
fountain sodas.
No, you go into the Coke pavilion and you take a little cup and they have little fountain drinks where you can just keep on drinking as much as you fucking want, and it's from all different countries. And the Japanese Coke is the shit.
I've not had this. I don't know what you're talking about.
It closed in 2019. You're never gonna have it.
Oh, there you go.
Club Cool was a beloved feature in Epcot where guests could try the different Coca-Cola soda products from around the world. It closed back in 2019, and we've been missing it ever since. No, we haven't.
And it makes sense because 2020 was a pandemic, and I didn't go that year. So there you go.
Oh, wait a minute. Disney officially announced a new and improved Club Cool hosted by Coca-Cola. Is coming. They're gonna do it again.
Fuck. God damn it.
Now you're gonna have to drink soda with me, Mary.
It's expected to open this summer.
So temptation lives again. I was happy it closed in 2019. I'm like, whoo,
one less thing to worry about.
So you know why I remember Club Cool is just because that's where you would run whenever it was hot as hell in Disney. And it was so hot. That's exactly where you would escape.
Yeah.
So we go to Epcot with my dad, and we stay sober as my dad drinks himself into oblivion as we go around the world, and I'm there like propping up my dad, like
Tony. Let us know what country do you start in, and what country do you have a specific order, or is it just fucking random? Like
I mess up. I always accidentally start in Mexico. which is a
Aren't you
mistake.
supposed to start in Mexico?
You always most people go clockwise, but some people go
I like going
counter.
counterclockwise.
Start
counterclockwise.
with
But the
Canadian.
problem is that last time I did it with my brother and his best friend, and it was a little later in the day, mind you. But we started in Mexico, and they're like, "Oh, well, we're in Mexico. We might as well start with tequila."
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
And that's how our day
Yolanda-
started.
Yolanda says, then I have to drive.
Yep.
She's the
the way it
GD.
is.
Vanessa says, I judge those mommy blogs. Legit.
See,
we are.
That's
But
the
she
reading
loves them.
Playboy for the articles.
Yeah.
I read the mommy blogs to judge them, not because I love them.
I've never
Jeff,
said that. Don't
It's
Jeff
like hate
says-
reading.
Jeff says,
It's like
yeah,
hate
I've never said that. Don't go into the parks with our kids. I've been drunk around the world at least 15 times.
Yeah.
I'm with you, Jeff. I can't even imagine those people in real life. Yuck. It's not the child's fault. It's the adults who don't listen to the kids' cues.
There you go.
My wife's doing a mommy blog right now. The Coke Pavilion closed in September of 2019. And Jeff says they are completely remodeling the Coke Pavilion. It's been closed for a while before the pandemic. Well, not that long. It used to have
nice
an
hallway.
Yes, man. I'm telling you, dude. That place was the
Damn.
fucking tits. And as a fat guy who's been broke his entire life, I'm like, wait, I don't have to pay for the soda?
So
Get the fuck out of here. And you
where-
would go and literally just.
where was this place located?
It was when you walk into right by the big ball.
Uh-huh.
To the right side, if you keep walking to the right side, it's like after one of the stores, and it's like this little. It's by a fountain. I think maybe a fountain.
Yeah, it's by the fountain that plays music.
Oh.
Yeah.
No sé.
But
Bueno,
I mean,
we'll see it next
but
time.
I love Epcot. I'm one of those.
Diet Coke.
I'm one of those.
Yeah, no, Epcot's my
Epcot was the
favorites.
first theme. It was the first Disney park I ever went to.
Mm.
So it immediately has that connection with me. But I legitimately love Epcot. Like I think
I love Epcot. I do.
think it's
I
fascinating.
can't wait to take Dave.
I've had friends who say things like, "Oh, kids don't like Epcot," and maybe my kids are broken because they fucking enjoyed Epcot.
Do they really?
Yeah, they
That
enjoy
was
Epcot.
great.
They don't obviously enjoy it as much as MGM. Like MGM to them, I
Right.
think MGM is their
Well-
favorite because it has a younger kid shit. Especially when my daughter was young, they had that Sophia the First. That princess was really big on Disney Junior.
Yeah.
And her name was Sophia, and so I had that connection, whatever. But they enjoy. I think the one that they enjoy the least would probably be
Magic Kingdom.
Animal Kingdom.
Oh, yeah.
It's the weakest of all the parks.
But
quite
I
frankly.
enjoy it. But I could see how they don't like it as much as. And then my daughter, last time we went, late 2019, to the theme parks, it was the first time we took them to Islands of Adventure. She threw in that curve. I go, which park do you like the best? And she was like, Islands of Adventure. She like legit no.
That
fucking-
makes sense for
it was-
Sophie.
She was 8 years old.
She's
She
so
had just
cute.
turned. She had just turned 8 years old, and she was no conscience. Like, yeah. And she was like, "Fuck my childhood." Islands of Adventure.
Fuck them kids.
That's it.
Yeah. You've been
Um,
hiding this from me.
Jeff says that you're supposed to start in Mexico. The sociopaths are the ones that start in Canada.
Facts.
And then Mike's dad said,
Tony says that he always ends in Mexico with the
Well, there you
Way to
go.
go, pops.
a lot of
"What?"
Mike,
likes to judge them.
I love to judge the mommy blog. She does. She reads them to me. She's like, "Can you believe these people?" And sometimes I defend them. I'm like, "I don't think that's a bad idea." And she goes, "No. The rule is you can never defend these people. Like that's the rule." And she belongs to Disney. She belongs to a Disney shaming group. That
She
they're
1000% does.
I swear to God.
And shares that shit like,
And the
oh,
rule is, she says, the rule of the group, it's a private group, and the rule of the group is that you can never defend anything that somebody else is posting to shame.
So that's throw me in the group.
Like they can't. It's fucking hilarious to me.
speaking of which, speaking of judging, do we want to get into an Am I the Asshole?
Yeah, I mean.
So I have one that you tagged me and Mike in on Twitter. Am I the asshole for going to college instead of helping my baby's mom with childcare and such? So we're already off to a good start.
Wait, what?
I am from a wealthy family, like so wealthy that I have never wanted for anything in my life. I understand that I don't struggle like most people, and I try to acknowledge that when I can. But at the same time,
Can we
Did we
just
read
pause
this
and
one?
look at Stephanie's face while you say that? Stephanie's face was fantastic. She's like, "Motherfuck this guy."
but at the
Like, you're
same
already an
time,
asshole.
the money that I benefit from does not belong to me, and I have very little money in my name, despite my parents taking care of me.
That's not how that. Okay.
What's
Okay. Yeah.
Wait, can you
Continue. You gotta get through the whole
Wait,
thing.
can you repeat that? Can you repeat that?
what? The last sentence?
Yeah, the last sentence.
But at the same time, the money I benefit from does not belong to me, and I have very little money to my name, despite my parents taking care of me. 5 years ago, I, 25 male, got a girl pregnant while I was still a 20-year-old college sophomore. This wasn't just any girl, though. She and her mom worked for my parents, and at the time, she was a 19-year-old housekeeper. Arnold, is that you? I really liked her, and we even grew up together in some ways because she was sometimes around the house with her mom. Basically, I invited her to a party one night, and one thing led to another, and she got pregnant by me. DNA test confirmed twice. This is what this bastard wrote. At the time, I was living halfway across the country at a university, and I didn't want to give that up at the time. In hindsight, I should have transferred back to a university near my parents' home and helped raise my daughter from day one. So my parents were funding my college at the time, and legally I owed very little in child support. Instead, I convinced my dad to increase her and her mom's pay because my baby was going to be living with them full time. I think he increased it by a lot, like $8 an hour. This was really the best I could do, as my parents were kind of mad at her at the time, even though I knew what I was doing. I took a couple extra years completing college and got a master's in dairy science. We own farms. Then about 2 years ago, I moved back home so I could have a better relationship with my daughter. I also tried reaching out to my baby's mom, and we have started a real relationship, but we are keeping it on the down low for now in case we just aren't compatible. Because we are now vaccinated, we decided to have a summer barbecue with all of our extended family. I also thought this was a great time to bring my girlfriend, daughter's mom, and announce that we were trying to make things work. My parents were really warmed up to her and initially thinking she was some sort of gold digger. So it was pleasant until I received several Facebook messages from extended family. They told me how I took advantage of a worker who couldn't resist me and that I basically am a terrible person. They also said it was heartless to not help her raise our child together and that I was partying at school while she was working 40 hours a week and caring for my child. They also said it was embarrassing. He misspelled embarrassing. He spelled it EMBER. That she had to work for my parents while
That's
pregnant.
not the worst thing he's done so far.
No, I know. I think it's cute that on top of everything else, he can't fucking spell. That she had to work for my parents while pregnant with my baby, etc., etc. I acknowledge that I could have been better, but I really needed to finish my program so that I could work for the family business in a meaningful role. I didn't just abandon my child. I visited on holidays and school breaks and helped her out when I could. By the way, the mom and I live together now. Smiley face. Am I the asshole for going to college instead of helping with my daughter's first few years? Question mark.
Fuck you.
I have thoughts.
Stephanie has no opinion.
I will
Stephanie has no
defer.
Stephanie, thoughts, comments, blood pressure medication.
I think that last one, please. I hate this human being.
Wait, okay.
Oh
I have a
gosh.
question.
Oh, it's gonna be good.
I have a question
This
because
just reeks of fucking privilege and just
absolutely.
not thinking about anything, and it just wanted to be like, I wasn't absent, I existed, and it's like, no. You weren't actively taking care of this tiny human, and this other person had to put in all this extra work. Then getting a raise is not the same thing as receiving child support. These are not the same thing. It's not or like emotional support or physical support. And yes, 100%, you were in a position of privilege and power. Like, I love whoever this extended family member is, because at least someone called him out on his shit.
I have a question though, because they called him out at a time when he was trying to make things right. Are these assholes allowed forgiveness?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So at some point, I think in the way that this is written, he's trying to make it sound like not as bad as it really was, and just kind of like, yeah, I get it. Yeah, I did a bad thing. And now that, like, because I think what he's talking about in the second half of that changed it a little bit for me, because he did say that he's like, hey, we're living together. We're trying to make a family of it. I understand that I fucked up at the beginning, but I'm going to try and make up for it now. Like, I feel like there's that in there, because honestly, this does also feel like a lot of.
Then why does
like,
he have to ask?
No, he does, because everybody on I Am
ready.
the Asshole is fucking crazy. Everybody on these things is nuts.
And he has his family messaging him now.
Now.
Like, now that he's trying to get these things right. I'm with Mike in the sense of I think this guy
was an asshole.
Complete and utter asshole.
Was a shithead.
And I don't think he understood the privilege that he had.
Right.
Like, I don't understand. Like, I'm not saying that makes it right or better. Definitely not. But I don't think he realized. I think that it took somebody to actually call him out for him to be like, what? Took advantage of her? What are you talking about? I went to a party with a girl. Like, he doesn't realize, hey, you have a fucking position of power. Like, in his mind, he was like, we grew up together, kind of. She was next to her mom as she cleaned my room. Like, I don't understand. What the fuck? Like, he was so white. This guy's so white.
Well, that's another thing. This farm, people don't realize these farming families, it's not farms anymore. These are $1 million production things. If he got a degree in dairy science and they have a big dairy farm, that's millions and millions of dollars. This is a very, very wealthy family. That means that they
wealthy.
Yeah, so wealthy. But like, that's the thing is that
Jeff says when he said like so wealthy, she's instantly the asshole.
Well, no, he's talking about the guy. Yeah. But what I'm saying is that imagine growing up in that environment and you don't have a frame of reference for it until you're presented with it in the presence of like a child and a woman that you impregnated by, look, I get they were young, but that doesn't mean they weren't adults, so
I'm just wondering if he would have like actually even recognized the situation if it wasn't for someone bringing it up to him.
He did. No.
Wait. Maybe he wouldn't have recognized the power. She's talking about the power dynamic.
What happened is that like the family members that are talking shit about him now are talking shit about him trying to work things out now. But now that he's open about him trying, like they didn't come through back then. No, or we don't know what, it's not written here, but they're talking shit about him now, saying, "Yeah, you fucked up then," and I feel like there's a little bit of like, "Yeah, I know. That's why I'm here now. That's why I feel like he was a big piece of shit, but he's trying to redeem himself."
I think there's two different things. Steph is asking, I wonder if he would even realize that he abused his power, not that what he did was fucked up as far as leaving her, not taking care of her financially. That's a different thing.
Right.
The power dynamic. I know stuff is very big on
no, I get it.
On people taking advantage of their power status, i.e. teachers, even if it's a woman taking care of her. We've talked about this a million times before. Yes. So she's very. So I don't know, Steph. I don't think he would have. I don't think he would have realized that he had a power situation and that he took advantage of that. I don't think he would have realized that until he was called out on it, which I'm okay with because, like Mike said, he didn't have a frame of reference. So if you don't know,
I'm not defending him in any way.
We're also assuming
the best. Right.
I think we're assuming the best in him in the sense of like him being like everything's fine now. We don't know the situation between these two people. Yeah. Like we don't know the situation between these two people. We don't know if it actually is a genuine emotion connection or if she's trying to make things work with this guy for the betterment of her own child. We don't know why, like what's happening with this, and how he's trying to be like we're together now that erases the past. Like,
but the rule in our segment is we go by what's written.
If it's written, it's the truth.
Because if we start going in, because then what happens is we start projecting shit from our own lives.
Sure.
Projecting shit. And it happened earlier on when we were like, "Am I the asshole?" Like, no, you know what happened with my fucking mom? And then it's a whole other ball game. So we just
how could he even get her pregnant? He had a vasectomy. Right? I don't even understand. Pregnant 2 times. They got what happened? Who knows?
So, I mean, he's an ass, but he's an asshole though.
He's an asshole.
I think that I think he's trying to make up for being an asshole.
I do think that's dangerous though, because like a lot of times, like I feel like this guy could get pushed back into that asshole thing from the people who are reiterating to him how much of an asshole he was, and he's like, I know, yes, please. Like how like when you did something wrong and everyone just wants to point the finger to the blame, and you're just like, let me fix it first. Let me fix whatever's broken. And they're like, yeah, you broke that. And I'm like, yes, that's correct. That's why I'm trying to actively fix the thing that's broken. And people are more inclined are more into the blaming and the getting that emotion out rather than the solution. So like, and then you're like, well, fuck it, it's going to stay broken. So
that's not the way to go.
I
Very
think
quiet. Eerily quiet.
just watching the shit show.
I think we're being very, very cordial. We're
No.
responding appropriately. I think.
I
He's
was
talking about
watching.
shit
shit
show.
show the fucking guy, bro.
Oh, the guy.
So
Yeah, that guy's a shit.
here's what I don't get itchy when I'm stressed out. So here's my thesis is I just have a general rule for people that helps me like not blow a gasket every time people are assholes. And that's like people only do what they are allowed to do. So he was allowed these extenuating privileges because of his situation. And I think that he comes off as the asshole because he is, first of all, but because the majority of the population would not have access to this privilege that this dumbass had to, you know, bless the mom with an $8 fucking raise and XYZ. So I think in his world, he probably isn't an asshole. He was just doing what a lot of people do in that kind of extenuating situation of privilege. But I don't think he was an asshole because he had the access to do that. And I think a lot of men, if they had the access to those resources, they would do whatever the fuck they wanted to do and then come back.
But they're still assholes in that situation.
It doesn't make it okay, right?
It doesn't make it okay. But I'm just saying that, like, if more men had that option, I feel like
if more people had the options of privilege, that's what privilege is. It's only allowed to a small group, like to a specific group of people. But
Missy's saying men because like the women have to have the baby. So,
but
like,
so yeah, because you know, I don't have the option to like outsource a pregnancy and labor. Like that's
right.
But anyway, now where it flips for me is that he's trying to make it work now, and he's trying to do the right thing. And okay, maybe it was shitty for him not to be there, but he wasn't like out partying and being a fuckboy. He was going off of what he said, dedicated to his studies so that he can make himself available to this family business that's probably a huge industry within its titan in the industry. And so I don't think he's the asshole for coming back, and now that he has his shit together trying to make it work. Like,
question though,
and where was this family's outrage when he was gone to begin with? Like, now that he's trying to do better, you're gonna shit on him? I'm not okay with that.
I imagine these are the kind of people that would have hid the fact that their son got their housekeeper pregnant, and then now that he's trying, when he went to a barbecue and he's like, "Hey, we're together now," then everyone's like, everyone's having the backlash, whiplash of like, wait, what happened? And everyone's reacting to like years of stuff culminating into them being like, yeah, we have a kid. But it's like the family members are reacting to like how shitty the situation is, which I feel like, again, the whole thing about the $8 rings is like super like tone deaf. Yeah, I don't know what maybe they like,
and then being like, "Oh, I wasn't absent. I was going."
Tell me you're white without telling me you're white.
I was going to college for a meaningful role in the thing. I'm like, you know what's meaningful? Being there for your child.
Well, here's the thing. Also, like, I don't think one of the things
like he wasn't there. He was there at the holidays.
I was there on holidays
and spring break. He gave up his spring breaks, no less.
One of the things here that also I think we're glossing over is how much family demand is on him from like these people don't. Like rich families like this don't just let people do shit. You know what I mean? Like you may have all the resources in the world, but they probably were like, you're going to fucking school and you're going to get that degree or whatever. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not defending anything.
It's just the nature. It's the nature of that reality.
Wait, but let me talk about what Steph just said. He's rich, right? He's rich. That means that he's raised like he made a big point of saying he doesn't have control over the money. His family's rich. So that means that he
benefits.
That means they can take him.
I'm not saying he doesn't benefit from it. I'm saying
we've all seen Gilmore Girls. This is a complicated situation.
What I'm getting at is that the fact that he points out that he has zero control over the money, like he's like, hey, yeah, we're like crazy rich, but I'm still at the service of my family in the field, and he almost like as an employee of the family. That doesn't mean he's not super duper privileged, but that does mean that there's like, look, man, I'm like, there's plenty of poor people out there that have family obligations that they have to meet and don't have the, like the social.
But it's also about phrasing, Mike. Because like, if he would have phrased it as, I don't have money to my name yet, I needed to get this degree so that I could establish myself in the company and be able to provide. That would have been a different thing, other than
hold on a
oh,
second.
but I don't. But I take care, get taken
that,
care of.
He did say that. He did say that.
In these very.
Look,
it's just the way, the tone in which he was saying is like
he
really kind of like taken care of.
He got a
you're blinded by the power dynamic, and I think that's skewing your just me knowing you personally. You really fucking hate that power.
We need to unpack that.
It happened with your brother. I was almost about to call him your brother. I'm like, is this that's brother back in Colombia fucking trying to hook up with the cleaning lady? Like, it was that type of shit where we're like, we just heard about this.
And to be fair, he got a degree in dairy science, not English literature. So his writing reflects that. Okay.
But everything has spell check. You have no.
Actually, the writing was moo 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 moo
moo moo moo moo moo.
But what does the crowd say?
Wait, I gotta get to some comments. All right.
Oh, I did have a question though.
Yolanda says,
asshole.
My friend Olivia says he's a big
My friend
asshole.
Olivia, shut the fuck up with.
I don't think anybody's disputing that he's an asshole, or he did what he did. Super.
But that's the question. That's the question I have. Is just because you were reading it. Reiterate, when he was asking, "Am I the asshole?" Was he asking for "Am I the asshole" currently for trying to make it work, or am I the asshole for what I did in the past? Like, what was?
No, he's asking.
Am I the asshole for going to college instead of helping with my daughter's first few years?
Yes, that part. Yes,
that's
that part.
Nobody's denying that. Like, nobody's
That's
saying he's not.
The judgment is still asshole.
Right.
Like
Caso cerrado.
Yeah.
So Tony says he still missed the initial bonding period that is needed when the child was young.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yolanda says, nope, he's an asshole. Should have used a rubber.
Yolanda, I'm going to fight with you. This is an interesting point because we're talking about the past. We're talking about shit that he can't undo. He can't go back into the past and put a condom on.
That was the question in the judgment. That was
but,
am I the asshole?
Yes, like, so he's an asshole, but there's a lot of like we're having a lot of the reaction that his family was having about what I'm imagining hearing about it all for the first time, where you're reacting to shit that's already been dealt with by the people involved. Clearly, because the guy is with the girl in whatever capacity, however the love is, the emotional connection, whatever it is.
I mean, this has rom-com written all over it.
Thing is, like, you know what the way he should be phrasing his stuff. The way he should be phrasing is like, I appreciate everything she did. She busted ass to take care of her child. She did this, that she did that. Everything she did was amazing. She carried so much while I was off getting my degree. And
dairy
now
science,
my dairy science degree, and now she's willing to give me a chance. That's the way he should be doing it. Crawling on his floor, being like, I'm sorry, my bad. Instead, he's like, it's fine. Everything's fine. We're together now. Things are great.
No. That is 100% you reading it with a tone of voice and not reading it blankly. You like, I understand. He's not a good writer. You listened to it, and that's when
I listened to it in a tone of voice.
Whenever anybody would get mad at me, like one of my exes we got into like this fight over a text message. I was like, well, did you read it happy or did you read it angry? Because that makes a difference.
That feels icky.
Fuck
no,
you.
That's
true.
But it's true.
Nary and I have done it. It's not a relationship.
Wording matters. Wording matters, and you can't tell someone.
How many times, Missy, have I called you and been like, can you believe what this motherfucker just sent me in a message? And then I read it to you and you go, yeah, it's
there's nothing wrong with that.
And then you're like, have a donut, BFF. You need to fucking you need to calm down.
Well,
have a Snickers. You get angry. You read texts angry when you're hungry.
Well,
the Snickers. Sometimes, and here's the thing, I wake up later than my friends a lot of time, or pre-COVID. I would wake up like at 10:30 in the morning, right? Mind you, I went to sleep at 3, but whatever. I woke up at 10:30, 11 in the morning. My friends have been up since 6, so I start reading all these fucking messages. And then I'm like, oh, fuck these like I just like jokes. Like, you shouldn't be reading text message from guys that are clearly meant to be jokes when you just wake up, because in your mind you're like, I'm not ready for the joke.
Sarcasm doesn't translate. And also, like, giving this guy immediately, we already think of him as an asshole. And again, he wrote this very poorly because dairy science. my question to Yolanda, like, and to everybody who's watching, and to you guys, is again, like, as a progressive person, I have to allow people the option to progress past their mistakes. We've all had shit that we don't want to be held accountable for in our past, that we've moved forward from, and if people constantly bring it up, it's like that. Oh, remember when you were 12 and you fucking pissed the bed? It's like, yeah, I don't do that anymore, asshole. Like people just want to
reading one article in the beginning of this fucking podcast, and it's been 9 fucking years, and Nary can't read.
Yeah.
Jesus, can we let this shit go, please?
Yeah, like this man is clearly trying. He was an asshole. There is no doubt about it. He's in a position of privilege, which makes it even more egregious. And his attempts to right the situation can't be removed from the context of the situation. That's what I'm saying. Like,
but I think you're also assuming the best out of this person too.
I am absolutely assuming the best, but I'm all going by what's written. You know what I mean?
Wait, I gotta get to this comment. I love this woman. The business is a cash cow. The business is a cash cow.
This is why you come on our Disney trip. Come on our Disney trip.
I love that woman. I love that.
You like that pun? You like that pun?
I know. The thing is that it's a hit or miss, really. I think that I don't know. I agree with Mike in that people have. I love a good redemption story, and I think that this guy is trying the best that he could. Was he an asshole? Yes, but I don't necessarily blame him for it because he had the circumstances that allowed him to be an asshole.
The context is important.
And I feel like if people had access to that kind of privilege, that would be the normal. And then we would be the exception as opposed to the other way around, if that makes sense.
That doesn't make it right.
It doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it right.
But you're still the asshole. Like whether it's warranted or it's the norm, it doesn't mean you're not an asshole. Like, is it the norm?
But would
yes.
you be?
Are
but
you
would
still
you
an
be the
asshole?
asshole if
Yes.
it's? But would you be? Is it if that was just a normal thing that people did? Would you be an asshole? Like if that was normal,
you're still an asshole. It doesn't mean, but it's the norm. Like. It's just one of those things like, acknowledging shit we used to do back then, or like things people were assholes back then. Was it the norm? Yes. But was it still wrong? Yes.
To a different degree, along with what you're saying.
Something wrong doesn't mean you're irredeemable.
To keep going with what you're saying, to give an example of what you're saying, Steph, when I was younger, right, when I was a kid growing up and I was in 6th grade listening to Wu-Tang, the N-word used to fly fucking fast and furious out of everybody I knew's mouth. And along with the N-words, there were, oh, that's gay. There was that statement.
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody said that it was a thing.
Yeah, we were assholes.
Does that mean that we weren't assholes back then? No, we were assholes back then. It just means that we've evolved now to be able to look back and look at ourselves then and be like, that's fucked. You know what I mean? Like
100%.
Yeah.
So bring up Yolanda's comment, the second to last one. And I agree. Yolanda, I'm not fighting with you on that. What I'm saying is, like, let's put it in this context. Let's say he didn't go to college. He went to jail, right? Like, let's say he did something
She
wrong.
wouldn't have gone to jail.
Jail or like stolen valor jail?
Let's say it was one of us and we went to fucking jail. Oh, yes, like last week. That was good.
Hey,
damn,
man.
I missed it. I'm sorry, man.
Hey, man.
I'm sorry, man. I dropped the ball. Bigfoot disagree with Yolanda Mercadal. No, I agree. But what I'm saying is, okay, let's say this guy, it wasn't a position of privilege and it wasn't this, that, or the other. Like, let's just say like he went to jail, he did his time. And then when he comes out of jail, he's like, I'm trying to to rebuild this relationship. And I'm trying to get back in with the life. I'm trying to get back in with the girl, like my child. I want to be present. Is that effort? I don't think should be ignored. I don't think it should be like, oh well, no, you're a fuck up forever.
But these aren't equal. Like, you don't have a choice to go to jail.
I'm not saying they are.
You have a choice to go to a different college. You have a choice to go to a different college.
You have a choice to not do something to get you in jail.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Is that like,
and he still would have been an asshole for doing the thing to go to jail.
Absolutely. We're not talking. That's the thing. I think I'm talking about a different thing. I think that's where we're missing.
Well, Mike is saying that we're all agreeing, even him is agreeing that he was an asshole in the past, but that the fact that he was an asshole indisputably, there's nobody arguing the fact that he's an asshole. He's the undisputed am I the asshole champ. He is the asshole.
Undefeated.
However, that should not, the fact that he's now trying to make it better and make amends should not be overlooked simply for the fact that he was clearly the asshole in the past.
Right. Like take this
Sure,
story.
I just don't think he still has a full understanding of how much he should be appreciative of the situation.
But that's not the rules have to be what's written. So
and the rules was written. He asked, was I the asshole for what I did? Not am I the asshole now?
But yes, but we're all the same.
Yes. The answer is yes.
But I'm saying, like, I think we're all painting him with a nicer brush now when it's not even the last.
Not you. You're definitely not doing that. Not you. You're not doing that at all. Don't
I'm just saying that,
try to come into our painting with a nice brush situation and stuff. You're not painting with a nice
No, I never said that he wasn't trying to do it right. I think he still doesn't fully acknowledge everything she had to go through.
He can never fully understand. He's rich and white. He's never gonna fully understand.
Never gonna fully understand.
I love how Misty's wait, hold on. I love how Misty's reasoning why he can't understand is because he can't spell. Like, he can't spell. He doesn't know.
But that's who you're dealing with.
Dumb dummy.
My thing is that that's who you're dealing with. You're dealing with somebody who had the privilege to fucking give his girlfriend a raise instead of being there for his kid. That had the privilege to finish going to whatever fucking school, to finish dairy school. I'm not supporting his choices. They were not what I would want my person to do if I was in a position like that. But I understand his logic behind it because he had access to that kind of fuckery. I'm not excusing it. And now that he is back, now the question is, am I the asshole for going to school instead of being there for my kid? Yes. End of story.
I think he's the asshole for not going to a closer school. I'll put that asterisk in there because you still want to go to school and better your fucking better yourself.
School's stupid.
Well, what I'm saying,
master's,
and I'm actively talking myself out of going back for more. So yes, I am full of shit.
And my
another
response
comment here from my friend Hilda. She says,
"You fucker, she's my friend." Actually, she's my friend.
She was only my friend, and then she has been revealed to all of you to be friends with all of us because I share my friends.
I think I need to add this woman.
Hilda's such a good friend of mine that she's one of the only two people to share my recent video of my stand-up on Instagram.
No,
and I didn't ask her to. And she fucking shared it on her.
Did she invite you to go play with her neighbor's cows? Because she told me to come over.
One of the only two people to ever do that, and the other one was Maritica. So shout out to both of them. But my friend Hilda says, back reading through some comments, and I feel like I missed a lot.
It was a lot.
It was a lot.
It's been a journey.
It's been a journey.
Place.
My friend Hilda says, LOL.
Yes.
A lot.
And my wife Vanessa says Yolanda is my friend.
I'm feeling left out of all this. Like,
she's all of our wives. She's a wife to all of us, Neri.
Well,
you no longer have Vanessa
as much as she has sex with me. So yes, you're right. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Dear Reddit, am I the asshole for calling out?
Oh my God! What just happened?
Tune in next week when Neri's no longer alive, and
tune in next week to Neri's memorial episode where we remember the life of Neri Science. Where now now Vanessa's hoping some dairy science major comes and tries to prolong the relationship.
10 seconds and she storms in. 10 seconds. Just. Friend, don't let me down. Don't let me down.
My friend Hilda says, I like to support fellow creative and artists.
She's great, man.
She's awesome. She really is. Like legit.
No, but so to put a button on all of this, there's always context for people to be. I will always give credit to somebody who's trying to un-asshole themselves and become not assholes anymore. You know what I mean? That I'm just trying to. I will always leave that door open, if they're genuine, and if it's possible.
Sure.
If they mean it. So
all right.
All of this is.
I agree. This has been brought to you by The More You Know.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of feel really, really nice that I'm. What? Oh, you keep looking back.
Keeps flinching like
no,
I'm legit gassing her up. I'm like, go in there, hurry.
I went like this, and the shine from the light difference from my hand moving across the camera caused me to be like, oh.
It's like watching someone in a horror movie where they're like something from the house.
Hey, you guys.
Oh my God, she's gonna
Where
walk in
you
during the
guys go?
Patreon segment. Watch.
Anyway, thank you guys for checking us out. That's our show, man. We gotta go. That's
Yeah.
Thank you guys for checking us out. As Misty alluded to, and as I said earlier, and if you listen to the audio version, just know I already put the commercial in between, but we gotta keep doing this. Just make sure you check out the Patreon. Go to patreon.com/WuBroPod, WuBroPod, to subscribe. There are different tiers of bro stuff that you
Bro
get.
stuff.
Yes. And of course, we already have one Patreon user. Mike, who's our Patreon user? Rookie, number one, man, with a bullet. So thank you very much, Rookie, for that. We appreciate you. Check out if you want to just donate to the podcast, because this shit takes money. Donate to our Cash App is same thing, $WuBroPod. Make sure you check out Missy is still working on her website, but she's getting closer.
This was a bad idea.
Check out Missy's handle is at Missy the Writer on Instagram and Twitter, and her website is missywrites.com. Stephanie, is your web? Are you back up finally? I don't know what the fuck
my website should be back up. Yes, it is on your phones. If you go to mydearwatson.co.
mydearwatson.co. It's not .au because I'm not fucking doing that.
No.
So make sure you guys check out her thing. Mike's comedy and the other podcast that Mike is on could be found. Everything at his handle is at Mike Mercadal. So make sure you guys check that out. And
Bigfoot Do podcast.
let's see.
Bigfoot got thoughts. Bigfoot want to share with the world.
My friend Hilda says that we should do an Orlando hang. Everybody, everyone, cows, Disney, booze, and board games. I am in. Hilda, I'm introducing slowly but surely. We've been for the last couple of years introducing our kids to board games, so they're like into Uno, and I bought them the Monopoly, the Super Mario Monopoly, which is really fun, and other stuff. And I just bought today, it just came in the mail. Trouble. Remember Trouble?
Oh
with
my God!
With the little bubble.
Oh, they're gonna love that one.
Yeah. And then my wife says, I have a baby attached to me. I can't storm anything. He lives a little longer.
Stay tuned, though.
Yeah. That might change.
Woo! All right. So make sure. Oh, and my comedy is at naryscience.com or whatwashisname.com. If you go to my Instagram, I just did an hour last Saturday at Umbrella Have Nots, and
Super funny.
they actually recorded my entire set in a very professional, quality looking shit. And I am now I got the video yesterday, the hour long, and I'm just now cutting into little pieces. There's a part of me that wants to release the whole thing, but I didn't know they were going to be recording, so I didn't really go in there with a fucking plan. So much so that I was doing material that I have not done in over 10 years. I'm like, how does this go again? And just fucking run with it, just having fun. And then they were like, do you want we recorded this very professionally. Do you want this? And I'm like, oh, I didn't know that was going to be an option. But it's a lot of fun. So check it out. Go on my Instagram and do me a favor and share. Do like Hilda and share, because that's how fucking traction gets going. And that's how the algorithm works. Check that out. Whatwashisname.com. You guys have been great. Thank you very much. Check out the other podcasts on the Geek Bro Network, including Pero Let Me Tell You, Childlike at Best with Mike Valdez, the Mount Geekmore podcast. I know we haven't recorded an episode in a while, but we're going to record another one in 2 days from now, and promise we'll get back on it for Mount Geekmore. Anyways, that's how winning is done.
We get it, Mary. We'll share your stuff. We'll share it. We'll share